All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good morning to all of the people of Puerto Rico that are watching or hearing us. We're here again as a united effort between the DOD, FEMA, National Guard, local municipalities, and the central government. Make sure that we can update you on the current situation in Puerto Rico, what our priorities are, what the results have been, and what our expectations are on the ongoing future. First, I would like to announce that we have established certain priority routes to some of the incommunicated areas in Puerto Rico. We're focusing on having food, water, security, hospital needs to all of these communities. And just to give you a brief overlook on what those communities or which one of those communities are, they're essentially mostly located in the central part of Puerto Rico. They include Maricao, Las Marías, Utuados, Lares, Adjuntas, Jayuya, Florida, Corozal, Ciales, Barranquita, Villalba, Yauco, amongst other municipalities scattered across the island. A reason, where we observed that there were more limitations in some of these regions, so we're doing, we're establishing an effort both with the DOD, with FEMA, and our local government to make sure that all of the assets for life sustainment, field deployment, and other priorities are met. In general, the priorities continue on being distribution of food and water across Puerto Rico. Today, I'll talk a little bit more about how we are making new initiatives that will empower citizens to be able to get food and water, and that it would be delivered appropriately. Second priority will be to keep on maintaining hospitals, the adequate efforts within the hospital, the functionality, distribution of fuel and diesel, and distribution of repair and maintenance to those components. In addition, we also are putting into that loop the USS Comfort, and I will talk a little bit about that, about the efforts that are ongoing, the strategic plan, how it's being used right now, and how we anticipate it's going to be used shortly in the future. Would also like to state that still as a priority, fuel distribution. We're making diverse efforts to ensure that people get gasoline and fuel all across Puerto Rico. And of course, energy, water, restoration, telecoms, ports, and so forth continue on being priorities for Puerto Rico. We also tag on another level of priorities in order to prevent possible problems within the future. One being maintenance and repair loop for generators across Puerto Rico, particularly generators in hospitals and generators in water supply in Puerto Rico. So we're working closely with the DOD to make sure that we have that adequate loop and that we can identify problems before they occur, and as many problems within generators before they become a significant obstacle. Secondly, public health emergencies. We are making an effort to prevent public health emergencies. I'll talk a little bit more about this, whether it be vector control or immunology efforts or just general information to the public. These are critical components so that we can avoid a major or a significant public health emergency here in Puerto Rico, and that we can control within points where outbreaks might occur. The third component, which is an added value, yesterday we started talking a little bit about it, but now we have a little bit of a higher level understanding of where we're heading with this, is opening schools and what that means, what our path towards the future is, and how it's working right now. So I'll give a little bit of a brief in terms of that right now. First of all, we report that at least 22 schools have opened. They're giving some sort of education, continuous contact with the students. Those 22 schools will be posted. We'll make sure that they're on the website. but we also expect that number to raise, sporadically as the following days continue. So that has happened really with the wherewithal of the regional leadership to identify schools that can run and to make sure that students and kids can have a safe place and can continue on their studies. What is the path forward? The path forward is that right now, Secretary of Education is making an assessment, and it is expected that by the 16th, we will have finalized that assessment that will allow us to start, at least regionally, with some efforts to open schools in the 23rd. So if we have a more broad opening of schools, we expect that it'll be around the 23rd when we have a lot more information. And our efforts and the Secretaries of Education have already started designing what the school year will look like, what the changes will be, so that kids can have a complete school year, and get their proper education. Parallel to this effort, and something that is important, is that schools and other areas in Puerto Rico are serving as places where they can, where people can get food. So we have several alternatives here across Puerto Rico. Right now, in 20 municipalities, there are locations open right now that are serving food, that are heating up food, and that are delivering food to the people of Puerto Rico. It is a three-tier approach. First one is worked strictly with the Secretary of Education. She is identifying, number one, those schools that are open, that can give, the 22 schools, for example, that are open, that will, of course, be giving food. Once school is over, those school units will serve food to the communities as well. So that is one of the strategies that is being employed. Number two, although we don't have a count, that is still ongoing. We will do the same with some of the shelters across Puerto Rico. They keep providing food, they keep providing water to those that are refuged there. So this will be another opening for people within the community to also receive food and water. Number three, there is an order for us to open schools that have access to water so that the communities can have access to water. So we're identifying all those schools that have already access to water that might not be open, to open up, and to open up to the communities as well. So that is the first bracket. Second bracket, an effort called Stop and Go. This is with the Secretary of Education and the Office of the First Lady. What they're doing is opening different places, whether it be a school or some other place where food can be made, heat up, and delivered to the people of Puerto Rico now. That food is being bought. We are working with MIDA so that we can identify what foods, products we need. We can heat them up, serve them as well. And a very positive dynamic has started to occur, which is that people from the community have food that they can't heat up in their homes, and they bring it to these stop and goes, so that not only them but others can benefit from that food. And lastly, a third effort is one with again the Secretary of Education, FEMA, and Chef Jose Andres. As you know, FEMA has hired Chef Jose Andres to provide food for Puerto Rico. So now he has been hired to do what we've been seeing him do, and distribute thousands, tens of thousands of food items to the people of Puerto Rico. As of now, there are 20 municipalities that have access to one of these three modes of getting food. There are 40 such stations, so some municipalities have several of them open. It is the effort that, the expectation is that within the next 24 to 48 hours, we can focus on opening this same efforts within the incommunicated or less communicated areas that I previously mentioned in Puerto Rico. So that is sort of a little bit of a review on the status of education and how that also is being connected to our efforts so that we can feed the people of Puerto Rico. I would like to announce that now we have over 11,000 active DoD components here in the island. That number, again, has been increasing, and they're working, again, in areas of medical support, and aviation to support the whole logistic strategy here in Puerto Rico. FEMA has opened up hiring, as was announced yesterday, for at least 1,000 people. So that effort is ongoing, and we'll remind you and we'll remind the people of Puerto Rico to apply so that you can be considered to be a part of this effort. We have 1,859 EMACs in Puerto Rico right now, adding to the total value of the assets that have come to Puerto Rico. So right now, we are certainly getting a lot of assets in Puerto Rico deployed for logistics to attend to the current emergency situation and to prevent potential problems in the onset. I would like to announce that the FCC approved the government's petition to destine $76.9 million to repair infrastructure damage in the telecoms range. So that is positive in terms of our efforts for enhancing telecommunications. We would like to remind everybody, number one, that all of the data that we're giving over here in Puerto Rico can be seen in status.pr. We'll be updating it frequently. Some of the data that I'll give you might be more updated than what's in the website, but in the next hour or so, it should be updated as well. Those that would like to donate to Puerto Rico can go to United for Puerto Rico and donate, or Unidos por Puerto Rico, or paypal.me/United for Puerto Rico, or they can call PRAFA at 202-800-3134 to see how they can collaborate and donate, volunteer, and otherwise. In terms of banks, co-ops, and ATMs, we have 173 banks open in Puerto Rico. That number has increased from 109. So we have about 6 days ago. So we have an increase, a significant increase there, and we have over 400 ATMs that are open and accessible for the people of Puerto Rico as well. Supermarkets are starting to open as well. Just to give you perspective, a week ago we had 40% of the supermarkets open. Today we have 79% of the supermarkets open. That represents 361, and again, we'll have all of that information available for you in status.pr. Gasoline stations, we're also at 78% open, representing 857 gas stations that are open in Puerto Rico. And in terms of the barrels of diesel and gasoline that we have over half a million barrels of diesel, close to 500,000 barrels of gasoline in Puerto Rico. Both numbers have increased by about 50,000 barrels of gasoline, and by 100,000 barrels of diesel within the past day. So a lot more diesel and fuel will be coming to Puerto Rico so that it can be distributed appropriately. Several municipalities, now we have 20 municipalities that have signed contract with our General Services Agency. So that means that 4 more municipalities have signed up and that are getting distribution of fuel and diesel from this agency. The objective was to have 75% of the gas stations open by the end of this week. We're already at 78, so surpassing that expectation. In terms of healthcare, the USS Comfort has arrived to Puerto Rico. It's currently stationed in San Juan. It has the capacity to hold 1,000 patients and 250 beds. Right now, it has about 64 patients, and there has been an assignment based on the assessment that was done yesterday by our Department of Health, DOD and HHS and FEMA to make sure that we know what the needs are in each of the regions in Puerto Rico so that we can deploy the USS Comfort appropriately in a route that makes sense and that would help save the majority, that would help most patients or all of the patients in Puerto Rico. The Comfort has now a mission based on that data. It is scheduled to deploy between 9 and 10 a.m. today. Its route will be stopping in Manatí, Arecibo, Aguadilla, Mayagüez, and Ponce during the day so that it can have short pickup of patients in need, but that it can also deliver some important necessities to these areas, whether it be water, food, medicine, and other resources. The USS Comfort can also serve as a logistical mechanism to deploy food and services that we've been discussing across Puerto Rico. We have 64 hospitals that are assisted. 25 have powered energy of their own in 8 municipalities: San Juan, Carolina, Bayamón, Guaynabo, Mayagüez, Ponce, Arecibo, and Cataño. Medical shelters keep being opened and developed. It is expected that Bayamón's medical shelter is operational today. San Juan and Manatí already are, and Mayagüez, Ponce, and Humacao are working so that they can be enacted as well. There are 8 DMAT teams distributed across Puerto Rico and 7 hub hospitals: Centro Médico in San Juan, Doctor Center in Manatí, La Concepción in San Germán, IMA in Fajardo, Caguas, IMA as well, and Pavia in Arecibo to work on these efforts. Vector control has already started in 6 municipalities, and a request to get more insecticide and more elements to battle vector control have been deployed. And there is progress as well in terms of the programs of immunology that are distributed across the island. Again, efforts so that we can prevent a public health emergency and that we can attend to the people preventively. In terms of food distribution and so forth, FEMA again will be distributing to 11 municipalities and 10 RSAs across Puerto Rico. 7 municipalities and 10 RSAs across Puerto Rico. But yesterday, 66 missions were accomplished. This, we have to say, is without the information of the RSA pickups, which we had yesterday, but we don't have today. We'll likely let you know during the morning what quantity it was, and the Red Cross's data as well. So again, missions are going essentially to all municipalities in Puerto Rico, giving water, food, sustainment levels so that we can carry on. Yesterday, FEMA supplied 400,000 servings of food and 380,000 liters of water to all of these distribution centers, and they will be installing 108 generators within the next couple of days. They've already installed 26, and 9 are in process. In terms of telecoms, we've achieved 45% of the clients having service in Puerto Rico and a greater distribution as well. Landline has been operational for about a week at 100%. And antennas that have been up, we have 423 antennas that are up out of the 1,600 total that we have. Quebradillas and Loquillo had their SAT-cows implemented, which allowed for more distribution and more phone calls and more text messages to be sent across Puerto Rico. The sad cows have reported more than a million phone calls and more than 4 million text messages. So these sad cows have been a sort of a shock absorber to allow us to expand our communication level, even though it's at a limited 3-mile radius range. It has been very effective to have people that didn't have communications be able to establish those communication routes. In terms of the environment, 5 stations have been established for biomedical wastes. They are all operational right now. In terms of the shelters, number of refugees has reduced to 8,500 and 132 shelters. So slowly but surely reducing that number of refugees and the number of shelters so that we can start thinking about how we're opening up schools. The objective for the end of the week was 130 shelters operating and continuing the consolidation of such shelters. In terms of ports and container dispatch, we are happy to report that we've broken the 1,000 dispatch a day mark. We have 1,004 reported yesterday. That goes up from 900 the day before and from 450 about a week ago. So transportation, deployment of these containers from the ports is reaching normalcy. We're about 400 away to reach normal levels. So that continues to rise, and it's a positive indicator. And again, I remind you that within the week, our objective is that some cruise liners can start operating again in Puerto Rico, and that operations for JetBlue, United, and Spirit can be started in the Aguadilla airport. In terms of aqueducts and water distribution, we report that now we have 54.2% of the clients with service. That goes up from 48.2% yesterday and essentially 25% a week and a half ago. So number is rising. We've broken the 50% mark. And again, the objective is to have 60%. The expectation is to have 60% by the end of the week. In terms of energy and energy distribution, I would like to state that looking forward, not only now for the point generation efforts that are ongoing, we want to establish tight collaborations. We have already signed, as you know, a mission agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers to start reestablishing transmission effectively in Puerto Rico. But we're also opening the pathway for collaboration with the private sectors with our P3 structure. So in order to to recognize that we're going to have to rebuild and rebuild better than ever, we are calling upon the private sector to be part of this new generation, this new design, and be part of something that will be built better than it was before, and that the long-term outcome will be better for the people of Puerto Rico. In terms of the percent of consumption, it has increased from yesterday. It was 8.6%, and now we're at 9.2%. And certain areas have been energized, such as the Marriott Hotel, Suiza 80, which has been providing water supplies to the people of Puerto Rico, Avenida Borinquen at Barrio Obrero, the Mayagüez Resort, La Comandancia de Ponce, in Guaynabo, Univision, the Town Hall, and Cataño, its medical facility. So some of the efforts that will be ongoing, we see some other areas of telecoms in San Juan so that they can have powered telecoms without generations, hospital in Guayama, and other clients in Ponce and Mayagüez. So I reiterate, 25 hospitals are energized without the power of a generator and being out of the diesel necessity loop, and 64 are being assisted as well. And our expectations is to get to 10% by this week, and within the next couple of weeks to get to 25% of point energy generation to the people of Puerto Rico. Again, I reiterate that for Vieques and Culebra, there are 3 trips that we've had. One of those days, we had to limit one to 2 trips, but now we're back to 3 trips in Vieques from the mainland to Vieques, and 2 trips from Culebra, and 3 trips from the mainland to Culebra, operating effectively. Again, 75% of the Metrobus transportation routes have been activated and have been empowered. So these are the current updates in terms of what's going on in Puerto Rico. This is product or the byproduct of collaboration of a united front helping to restore these capabilities in Puerto Rico. And as you can see, now we're looking forward to some of the post-emergency phase components to make sure that as soon as we pass that emergency phase, normalcy can start being reestablished. So that's it for my report. I'm going to state it in Spanish. I don't know if Alejandro, you want to? Okay. So I'll make a brief summary in Spanish, and then we'll go to the questions. En primer lugar, gracias a todos por estar aquí. Les reiteramos que muchos de estos datos van a estar en status.pr para que todo el pueblo pueda ver o para que los medios puedan comunicar. Continuamos con la cifra de 34 muertos asociados directa e indirectamente con el huracán. La FCC aprobó la petición del gobierno de Puerto Rico, que destina $76.9 millones para reparar infraestructura de telecomunicaciones. Tenemos 1.859 IMAX en Puerto Rico. Esos son los recursos estatales que están viniendo a suplementar áreas de seguridad, áreas ¿verdad? De medicina, entre otras. Tenemos sobre 11.500 destinados del Departamento de la Defensa. Tenemos sobre 600 de FEMA, sobre 1.000 de todas las agencias federales, y FEMA ahora ha comenzado el esfuerzo para poder contratar a 1.000 personas que vayan a estar trabajando en los esfuerzos de recuperación. En términos de educación, añadimos ese frente ahora. Anunciamos que hay 22 escuelas que han estado abiertas, van a estar disponibles, ¿verdad? Durante la mañana en status.pr. Se establece como objetivo tener toda la información de todas estas escuelas hasta el 16 de octubre para entonces tomar una determinación de cómo se van a abrir esas escuelas la semana del 23 de octubre y empezar el currículo. Ya la secretaria ha comenzado a trabajar con recursos externos, utilizando experiencia de otros eventos como Katrina, para ver cómo entonces se maneja la expectativa del tiempo de los estudiantes y se cumple con el currículo basado en esas expectativas. De la misma forma, informamos que hay 3 esfuerzos relacionados con educación, pero que ahora están trabajando para poder dar más comida de manera más transparente, granular y dirigida hacia el pueblo de Puerto Rico. Y son 3 esfuerzos principales. El primero son escuelas que la secretaria ha abierto, que se han determinado que están abiertas, que proveen ya ¿verdad? El sistema tradicional de comedores escolares y que van a estar abiertas durante todo el día para poder proveer comida hacia las personas que así lo necesiten. O sea que algunas de estas escuelas, de las 22 que están abiertas, no tan solo están dando, ¿verdad? Algún tipo de educación y mantenimiento a los niños, sino que posterior a ello le proveen comida a las personas que así lo necesitan. Segundo lugar, el esfuerzo de Stop and Go. Stop and Go es un esfuerzo también de la Oficina de la Primera Dama y de la Secretaría de Educación, donde se abren o escuelas o otras áreas para poder cocinar y hacer comida. Hemos estado colaborando con Midas para identificar cuáles son ¿verdad?, los abastecimientos disponibles para poder comprarlo, hacer comida. Se ha estado dando una dinámica muy positiva, que es que los mismos ciudadanos llevan comida que no pueden cocinar en sus hogares, para que no tan solo ellos, sino otros puedan disfrutar de esas comidas. Y en tercer lugar, un esfuerzo de educación y FEMA con el chef José Andrés. Deben saber que el chef José Andrés ha sido contratado por FEMA para poder proveer comida al pueblo de Puerto Rico. Así que ya se ha estado identificando, ¿verdad? Se ha estado trabajando con FEMA, las decenas de miles de comidas que se están repartiendo ya hace unos cuantos días son producto de esta colaboración entre el Departamento de Educación, FEMA y el chef José Andrés. Entre todos, hay 20 municipios que tienen estas capacidades, hay 40 de estos establecimientos abiertos y la secretaria se lleva hoy, ¿verdad?, como esfuerzo entre las próximas 24 a 48 horas, identificar dentro de lo que van a ser los municipios que están más descomunicados a través de Puerto Rico, asegurarnos que podamos abrir al menos uno de estos establecimientos en cada uno de esos municipios. Se me olvidó mencionarles lo que eran esos municipios que se han identificado. No es una lista exclusiva, pero sí, hasta el momento es Maricao, Las Marías, Utuado, Lares, Adjuntas, Jayuya, Florida, Corozal, Ciales, Barranquitas, Villalba, Yauco, entre otros, ¿verdad? O sea que esos municipios se han identificado que tienen unos retos mayores por la falta de acceso a vías, y con el Departamento de la Defensa se está trabajando para poder llevarles comida, agua, para poder tener seguridad y para poder tener acceso a tratamiento médico de así necesitarlo, o de transferir esas personas para otras áreas. Rápidamente, 173 sucursales de bancos, más de 400 ATHs en Puerto Rico, el 79% de los supermercados abiertos, el 78% de las gasolineras abiertos. Relativo a una semana, esos dos números estaban cerca de 40%, más de medio millón de barriles de diésel, poco menos de medio millón de barriles de gasolina. Esto también ha aumentado en las próximas, ¿verdad?, de ayer hacia hoy, 50,000 barriles más de gasolina y 100,000 barriles más de diésel de lo que se tenía ayer. El objetivo nuestro había sido en la semana tener 75% de las gasolineras operando, ya estamos en 78, superando ese objetivo. En términos de salud, llegó el USS Comfort, ya ha recibido 64 pacientes, incluyendo algunos pacientes que estaban en estado crítico del Hospital Ryder en Humacao, que se transfirieron o al centro médico o al USS Comfort. USS Comfort también tiene una misión hoy que va a ir a varios municipios, a Manatí, a Arecibo, a Aguadilla, a Mayagüez y a Ponce, para recoger pacientes basado en un assessment de comunicación que tuvimos ayer, y para poder enviar productos de logística, que es otra de las capacidades que tiene el USS Comfort. O sea que a la medida que va a ir a recoger pacientes, también puede ir a llevar agua, comida y otros componentes importantes. 64 hospitales asistidos, 25 hospitales en 8 municipios que están energizados, 8 esfuerzos de DMATs a través de todo Puerto Rico, 7 hospitales que son hubs, y se ha comenzado con el esfuerzo del control de vectores en 8 municipios ya. Se ha solicitado adicional pesticidas, ¿verdad?, y plaguicidas para Puerto Rico, para seguir impactando todos los municipios, y los programas de inmunología se han comenzado a implementar también, se están distribuyendo a través de todo Puerto Rico, y mañana tenemos una actualización sobre cuáles son esos municipios que se han impactado y entonces la vía hacia seguir. El FEMA ha continuado distribuyendo cantidades grandes de comida y de agua a los municipios, particularmente a los Regional Staging Areas. Ayer suplió 400,000 porciones de comida y 380,000 litros de agua, ¿verdad?, a los 10 centros de distribución, además de 10 municipios En total hubo 66 iniciativas, ¿verdad? 16, por ejemplo, de la Oficina de la Primera Dama, 4 del Departamento de Familia, 25 de voluntarios en asociación con el gobierno central, entre otras. En telecomunicaciones estamos ya en 45%. Esto ha sido producto de levantar, ¿verdad?, un sinnúmero de antenas. Para perspectiva, hace una semana estábamos en 96 antenas, hoy estamos en 423 antenas que están levantadas en Puerto Rico, y a la misma vez los SATCAOs, las antenas provisionales que se están levantando a través de todo Puerto Rico para la función. El FCC, a nuestro pedido, ¿verdad?, aprobó y destinó 76.9 millones de dólares para reparar la infraestructura de telecomunicaciones. De la misma forma, vamos a tenemos 5 centros de acopio ¿verdad?, de desperdicios biomédicos que están funcionales. Hemos reducido la cantidad de refugiados a 8.500 y 132 refugios. Hemos aumentado la cantidad de despachos de contenedores del muelle, ya sobrepasamos los 1.000. 1.004 fue la cifra de ayer, y recordamos que la cifra normal es 1.400. En acueducto y alcantarillado llegamos a 54.2% de los clientes con servicios, aumentando, ¿verdad?, notablemente de ayer, que teníamos 48.2%. El objetivo en la semana es 60% y posterior a ello al mes 80%. En energía eléctrica se ha aumentado del 8.6% al 9.2% entre ayer y hoy. Reiteramos que esto, ¿verdad?, es generación puntual que se está haciendo a través de todo Puerto Rico, pero ya mirando de cara al futuro, hemos establecido una colaboración con el Army Corps of Engineers para poder restaurar lo que va a ser el sistema de transmisión, y hemos hecho un llamado al sector privado, conducto de nuestro mecanismo de APPs, para poder buscar una solución duradera de cara al futuro que nos permita tener un mejor sistema eléctrico para el pueblo de Puerto Rico a mediano y largo plazo. Ya hablé de los hospitales energizados, ya les menciono que hay 3 viajes de ida y vuelta a Vieques que se están llevando, 2 viajes a Culebra, 3 de regreso a Culebra, y en esencia eso es el resumen de los datos. Estoy disponible para contestar cualquier pregunta, y cualquiera de nosotros estamos también.
We'll take a few questions. One question per media, please. Bloomberg.
Governor, obviously the government is facing a liquidity crisis at this critical time in the emergency. I wonder if you could provide an update on how much cash on hand the government still has. I believe it was $1.6 billion prior to the storm.
Right. The number was actually a little bit higher than that. Of course, we are dealing with the emergency right now. We recognize we have some cash in hand. Our teams are working to see what that means. We've talked about the need for Congress to act now in October, preferably the earlier part of October, so that we don't have to start considering cash needs to answer to the emergency. Certainly, Puerto Rico was in a fiscal bind, and everybody recognizes that. So our petition is for Congress to act as soon as possible. Solidarity and support has been expressed in a bipartisan fashion by several senators, from Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, to Leader Schumer, Booker, Tim Kaine, and others have supported a strong and just aid package for Puerto Rico, particularly to get us into the onset. But again, I reiterate that some of our numbers were that because we don't have, putting into context, because we don't have revenue sources right now, because we're having to attend to the emergency, and of course the plethora of obligations that the government of Puerto Rico has, we're looking at late October, early November, while that money is still in the cash box.
NBC.
Hi, Governor. Good morning. Ron Mott, NBC News. There seems to be a wide disconnect between claims that more and more aid is reaching people when there's still large swaths of people who've seen absolutely nothing. We went to Ay Bonito, easy to get to. Everyone we talked to said they've seen absolutely nothing. In fact, one man thought we were FEMA. So how do you explain this 2+ weeks now after this storm?
Well, again, this is why we've been altering, changing, and modifying a lot of our distribution strategies. You must recognize that the topography of Ay Bonito particularly is mountainous. It has many hard-to-reach areas, so communication is paramount so that people know that food and water supplies have gotten there. So let's break it down on how this has occurred. First, we had either regional staging areas for municipalities to go there and pick up some of the food and water. Or we were sending out missions as we could get there, either by air or by land, and we would give them to the mayor so that they could distribute this food and water. We heard the claims, and we wanted to respond with more aggressive, appropriate, and directed actions. What were those actions? Number one, we have now trucks in the regional staging areas that will get to Ay Bonito. I have right over here, as a matter of fact, that food and water got to Ay Bonito and also in our website within the past 24 hours. But we need to get those to the municipality if they haven't gotten them. Number two, it is our strong suggestion for the mayors to have a distribution site that everybody in the town knows where it is, so that we can get people to have visibility as to what the resources and who has the resources and how they're being distributed. Number three, we're making efforts, whether it be by land or by air, to communicate where these sites are, so that, as well as other information, public health emergency, but to communicate this because, we could go to a municipality, and municipalities vary in size and structure. You could bring all the water and food in the world to one part of the municipality, and another part that might be half an hour, 45 minutes away will never hear about it. So it is important, it is imperative that we work with the local mayors to identify all of these communities and make sure that those people either get delivery to those community centers or know at least where they can pick up those components. And lastly, we're now having sites that we are managing, whether it be the central government, the Department of Education, FEMA, and others, where we are actually either cooking right there for the people to come and get them, or food is being made and it's being delivered essentially to core municipalities. It is important to state, and I really want to reiterate this point. What I've seen personally when I fly to different parts of Puerto Rico is that every municipality that has a known distribution center and that has communicated, the argument that food and aid is not reaching is essentially null. Of course, when there is no distribution site, when people don't know how to get or where to get or where it's being distributed, that's when the challenge arises. That's when some of these challenging communities arises. Secondly, I would also like to add another layer to this. Ay Bonito is within the communities, right, the central core of communities that have regions, sectors within it that have limited communication. So that doesn't mean you can't get to Ay Bonito. It means that some communities within Ay Bonito are harder to leave and are harder to get to. So within the strategy at a local level, with the work of FEMA and with the work of DOD, there's going to be more more personnel deployed to those areas so they can facilitate all of this movement and they can facilitate security needs as well. So I recognize, and of course, that there are some claims, and of course, we want to make sure we address those claims for the people of Puerto Rico. But perhaps that disconnect has to do with all of the components that I've been talking about. We have meetings every night to address what the challenges have been to deliver food and what innovative strategies we can implement. And if you look back in the past week, essentially every day we provide a new added strategy. We don't eliminate the ones that we have. We add another strategy to get more granular, to get to the people, and to make sure that they have their food and water needs met.
Una pregunta por medio de WIPR.
Saludos, buenos días, señor gobernador.
Buenos días, David.
Buenos días. Mire, nos consta que su administración, usted y su equipo trabajan con lo que se conoce como Banda 14 y que en 5 años estaría instalado y un sistema resistente de telecomunicaciones que ya ha sido aprobado en otras jurisdicciones. Planteo esto porque ante la aprobación de los 76.6 millones de dólares para la infraestructura, reparación de la misma de telecomunicaciones, ¿se irán dirigidos a esto o serán distribuidos o canalizados para ayudar también a los sistemas de celulares u otros sistemas de telecomunicaciones?
Sí, bueno, miren, en general, ¿verdad? El sistema de telecomunicaciones es el sector privado quien lleva este esfuerzo. Nosotros sí hemos hecho un acuerdo de cara al futuro con FirstNet para precisamente situaciones como esta, tener un ancho de banda que sea dirigido para los respondistas y para acciones de emergencia. Pero estos fondos son, ¿verdad?, dirigidos para poder restaurar lo que tenemos, para poder facilitar ese desarrollo, aunque esas sugerencias, ¿verdad?, de mejora van a ser, yo estoy seguro que van a ser acogidas por las compañías de las telecomunicaciones para poder seguir teniendo un sistema más robusto y proveerles a los puertorriqueños, ¿verdad?, lo más adelantado en la tecnología.
Le-
Sí, mira, suficiente o no, yo no sé la contestación de esa pregunta. Ciertamente un alivio dentro de un esfuerzo que ya se está haciendo con el sector privado y con colaboración, ¿verdad?, del Departamento de Defensa y de FEMA para poder abrir paso, llegar a los distintos lugares, proveer diésel. Pero esto era una capacidad monetaria que era necesaria para seguir levantando antenas. Recordamos que aunque hemos hecho un progreso significativo de 96 antenas sobre 400, todavía son 1.600 antenas que tenemos en Puerto Rico, o sea que falta mucho por poder potenciar. Tenemos alrededor un poquito más de 25% de las antenas arriba, representa con los SAT-CAUS 45% de los clientes, pero ciertamente esos recursos van a ir dirigidos para poder levantar el sistema.
Tengo que reiterar una pregunta por medio porque somos muchos periodistas y nos quedan 10 minutos. Lente viral.
Buenos días a todos. Buenos días,
Buenos días,
gobernador. Bien rápido. Nos están llegando mensajes, personas que están disponibles para trabajar, que tienen que hacer para poder contactar con el gobierno de Puerto Rico
El website.
para la distribución. Y aprovecho también la oportunidad porque nos están llegando mensajes de personas que han enviado muchos productos a Puerto Rico, pierden el tracking, no sabe si llegó esa ayuda directamente. Finalmente, nos comunicamos con una persona que trabajó durante el terremoto de Haití, contratada por el gobierno de Barack Obama, que está disponible para brindar ayuda con respecto a salud, prevención para evitar epidemias. ¿Qué tienen que hacer?
Bueno, primero nos pueden llamar a nosotros inmediatamente, aquí al COE. Lo canalizamos con el esfuerzo de salud que se está llevando a cabo en el nivel local y el nivel federal. Sería un gran activo que pudiéramos tener esa ayuda y, por supuesto, si tiene que ver más con el componente de IT, también estaría nuestro CIO envuelto. Así que, con mucho gusto, si usted tiene esa información, me la da al final de esta conferencia de prensa y yo me aseguro de canalizarla. Sobre cómo solicitar para lo de FEMA, no di el email porque uno muy largo, no sé si usted lo tiene por ahí.
Luego de
Luego-
terminemos la conferencia de prensa,
Sí,
se lo damos.
esto se lo damos, ¿verdad? Pido excusas por ello, pero es FEMA, Dash, otras cosas, así que va a estar, ahorita se lo hacemos llegar.
Y lo divulgamos por redes sociales también.
Sí, el seguimiento. Miren, todo esto llega a Puerto Rico. Nosotros hemos diseñado la logística, ¿verdad?, más apropiada para esto, que es a la medida que llegue, por ejemplo, el Centro de Unidos por Puerto Rico empieza a recibir muchas de esas recolecciones, a menos que hayan sido, ¿verdad?, vuelos fletados de algunas personalidades que quieran llevar unos recursos particulares para distintas áreas. Pero por lo general se está esperando en el aeropuerto, se está esperando en los puertos para poder llevar entonces al centro de acopio, que es el Choliseo, y pues por supuesto por el conducto de FEMA también están llegando un sinnúmero de áreas, pero yo reconozco que el tracking, ¿verdad?, puede que sea un reto, pero es que no tenemos comunicaciones. Ahora mismo el objetivo primordial es poder recibir esos recursos y empezar a distribuirlos, y ahora mismo la verdad es que la capacidad para poder hacer eso no la tenemos ahora. Tiene ahí el email.
Gracias, gobernador. Para solicitar trabajo con FEMA es FEMA-workforce-caribbean@fema.dhs.gov. FEMA-workforce-caribbean@fema.dhs.gov, y vamos a estar reclutando sobre 1,000 personas en todas las áreas. ¿Perdón? Pues vamos a estar yendo por los municipios nosotros también para ayudarlos. Lo mismo lo mencionamos esta mañana, ya hemos recibido sobre 200,000 solicitudes de asistencia por parte de la familia. Asimismo estaremos llegando, porque en los municipios vamos a estar reclutando personal también. No va a ser solo en el área metropolitana, va a ser en los municipios también.
Sí. Esto lo vamos a poner en el portal aquí, ¿verdad? Obviamente porque es un poquito complicado y así solamente le pueden dar clic y llegar hacia él.
Y en las redes sociales también.
En las redes sociales también.
Noticentro, una pregunta por medio.
Gobernador, con relación a esto de las ayudas, surgen muchos rumores con relación al hecho de que una denuncia de que empleados de gobierno se están apropiando de las ayudas una vez llegan a los municipios. Ayer el general Reyes mencionó que sectores del bajo mundo también están haciendo de las suyas y en alguna medida se están apropiando. O sea, ¿esto es real? ¿Se ha confirmado? ¿Qué se puede hacer para que esto
Bueno,
no pase?
¿usted tiene algún ejemplo de ello? Lo que pasa es que, mira, aquí se han hecho unas denuncias y nosotros, ¿verdad? Por varias personas, si se van a hacer unas denuncias, que se diga el nombre y el lugar y las personas que están haciendo eso. Si en efecto es cierto, nosotros ¿verdad? Le vamos a caer encima con todo el peso de la ley y son personas que no van a estar sirviéndole al pueblo de Puerto Rico, pero es un desservicio decir hay gente que está haciendo X o Y cosas. Traigan los ejemplos con mucho gusto. ¿Usted tiene alguno en particular que nos quiera que se...
Lo del general Reyes, porque lo ha dicho en los medios de comunicación, no creo que un general vaya a mentir.
No, pero el general Reyes habló sobre una situación, ¿verdad?, de seguridad, de apropiación. Estoy hablando de los servidores públicos que reclaman que sean... Si hay alguna mención de esto, nos la hacen llegar. Nosotros la vamos a investigar. Si ustedes tienen evidencia, mejor, pero de nuevo, estos son tiempos donde estamos tratando de dar el máxima visibilidad en un momento donde no tenemos mucha comunicación. Nuestro objetivo es que estos recursos lleguen al pueblo y por eso aumentamos ¿verdad? ese esfuerzo. Pero si se va a estar hablando, si se va a estar señalando de que en efecto alguien, ya bien sea, ¿verdad?, un oficial público, un alcalde, alguien está cogiendo esas propiedades, pues denúncienlo. Denúncienlo. Yes.
We have an order in the list, please.
Yes. The quick reply is if there is an indication, if there is a claim, then give it to us specifically. Right? Let us know if you have a claim where somebody is stealing some of the products that are destined for the people of Puerto Rico. Let us know, because we will come hard on that. But right now, all that's being said is on a general basis that there may be some people taking some of these goods. As soon if somebody's making that claim, then our presumption is that they know about this, right? So what we're asking them is, let us know. Let us know about it. We'll act immediately upon it. If they're working for my government, they'll be fired. They won't work in government again. So let us know. It's that simple. But please, let's not make claims that are general, that create anxiety when there is no basis for that action.
One question per media outlet, Miami Herald.
Ya lo hice con... Sí, bueno, pues, ok, recalcándolo. Cualquier oficial electo de nuestra administración que esté haciendo eso va a estar despedido y buscaré todos los mecanismos que me permitan la ley para que sienta el peso de todo ello.
Governor, thanks. I would like to ask a serious question about infectious disease
Right.
and mosquito-borne stuff, but I'm not going to because I just have one question. And I have to ask
That was smart.
I have to ask about this FEMA contract with Chef Jose Andres.
Yes. Yes.
He's tweeting now that he's creating these huge paellas for people.
Right.
Is cooking paella a priority given the situation here?
Well,
how much money are you spending on this contract?
I can have Alejandro talk about the details of the contract, but the idea is you know, the chef was already making food for a lot of people in Puerto Rico, and what we wanted to do was give him more bandwidth, more aid within that structure, and he was then hired so that a lot of the food that you know, can get to those people. So whether it's paella or a sandwich or whether it's a bottle of water, the important thing is that we're using our resources to attend to one of these challenges, which is getting food and water to the people of Puerto Rico. I don't know if you want to add something.
Well, we support many private nonprofit organizations like the Salvation Army, American Red Cross. If they need some of our support, we provide them with logistical support, with transportation support, and other type of needs that they may have. And this is the type of engagement that we have done with Chef Jose Andres, as we do with many other private nonprofits, where we provide also logistical support, transportation, and any other type of support.
Guapa Radio, una pregunta por medio.
Sí, buenos días, gobernador, y a todos los presentes. Específicamente, ¿a qué usted se refiere cuando le hace el llamado a la empresa privada para conformar APP en la Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica?
Bueno, ahora nuestra red de energía eléctrica ha colapsado, ¿verdad? Nosotros tenemos un recurso en el Army Corps of Engineers para poder restaurar lo que son las líneas de transmisión, que van a ser esenciales como sea, pero de la misma forma tenemos que ver si nosotros podemos optimizar nuestro sistema de generación, de distribución, y lo que nosotros estamos haciendo es un llamado, ¿verdad? Ya se abrió lo que se llama el Unsolicited Proposal de la APP para que distintos, ¿verdad? Entidades puedan proponer una solución que sea de beneficio para el pueblo de Puerto Rico, pero ante ante esas peticiones que están llegando o esas propuestas que están llegando, lo que nosotros queremos hacer es entonces ver ya con el director ejecutivo, con otros en este esfuerzo de infraestructura, ver cuáles van a ser las mejores alternativas para entonces ir hacia adelante y colaborar con el sector privado, ya bien sea en algunas componentes de distribución, de generación, etcétera, que el resultado sea ya a largo plazo tener un sistema de energía eléctrica, ¿verdad? Que hemos estado hablando de esto por décadas, que sea resiliente, que sea robusto, que sea moderno y que produzca energía más barata y con mayor confianza al pueblo de Puerto Rico.
El Nuevo Día, una pregunta por medio.
Buenos días, gobernador. Ciertamente ha trascendido que los recursos del gobierno se acaban este mes y la petición reiterada de usted al gobierno de los Estados Unidos de que brinde una ayuda proporcional con el daño que recibió la isla. Mi pregunta es, ¿tenemos un plan B en caso de que esa ayuda sea insuficiente o de que no se produzca o no sea la necesaria?
Bueno, el plan B es que, ¿verdad? Yo no veo un plan, no debe haber un plan B, porque el plan A ha funcionado para otras jurisdicciones de los Estados Unidos y debe ser tomar acción con la urgencia que amerita. De no tomar acción hay unas consecuencias y ya yo las reiteré, me parece que hace una semana, lo que podía provocar el no actuar adecuadamente al nivel de lo que se amerita en Puerto Rico. Lo que ello conllevaría es que se haría muy difícil la reconstrucción de Puerto Rico. Se haría más difícil, por ejemplo, restaurar nuestro sistema de salud, que va a tomar tiempo restaurarlo a la normalidad. Se haría más difícil ser competitivos en términos económicos si no podemos restaurar ¿verdad? Elementos básicos como telecomunicaciones o energía eléctrica de manera rápida y de manera efectiva. Así que, por lo tanto, está en el mejor interés de los puertorriqueños, por supuesto, pero también de la nación en general, atender esto como lo amerita, porque de otra forma esto podría caer, como lo dije hace un tiempo, a una crisis humanitaria si no la atendemos apropiadamente. Si la atendemos apropiadamente, pues tenemos los instrumentos entonces para salir de la emergencia, estabilizar, construir y construir mejor que nunca. ¿Cuál es el efecto potencial de no actuar esto adecuadamente? Pues ya Puerto Rico tenía un problema de éxodo bastante significativo. Pues ese éxodo se podría acelerar y dependiendo del daño que tengamos en Puerto Rico, podríamos estar pensando en millones de puertorriqueños que se irían a algunos de los estados en la nación, provocando ¿verdad? Un problema severo de demográfica en Puerto Rico y en los Estados Unidos.
One question per media outlet. Christian Size Monitor.
Yes, Governor, thank you. You were speaking a little bit about proposed power generation.
Yes.
For building back better. And I wonder, in general, how do you avoid, when you're in such a crisis, and you're really focused on getting aid now, how do you avoid losing sight of doing better?
Well, you can't. That's what, it depends on your mindset. If you're only focused on providing an immediate need, then you lose track of what you need for Puerto Rico to flourish in the mid and in the long run. So our perspective has been the following. We need to attend to people's needs as quickly as possible, but without losing sight of what we can do to rebuild better in the long run. So that means that when we're taking consideration of how do we restore the energy grid, right? This is mostly focused on energy, not food and water supplies, right? Food and water supplies, the objective is getting food and water supplies to the people of Puerto Rico. But in critical infrastructure, you know, how do we balance getting energy in Puerto Rico perhaps a little bit quicker, but with the same old energy grid that is subject to collapse? Or do we start thinking strategically in, yes, getting point generation across Puerto Rico and getting it as fast as possible, but without losing sight of the opportunity to create it better, build it stronger, use all of the innovation that we have at hand? So that's what how we're thinking about all of these things. And of course, in order for this to happen, there needs to be collaboration. It can't just be the federal government. It can't just be the Corps of Engineers. We need to seek collaboration, as we were doing prior to the emergency, from the private sector. So I think there are opportunities there that we can evaluate. Right now, I'm not going to comment on any one in particular because we've just opened up those opportunities. As soon as we start seeing that, and our CEO of PREPA or our executive director of P3s gets more light in that situation, we will be able to have more clarity and visibility as to what the next steps are there.
One question per media outlet, The Economist.
Hi, yeah, just to follow up on about the electrical system. In terms of rebuilding better, we've heard from certain people, including Congressman Rob Bishop, that according to sort of FEMA regulations, the funding will only allow for it to be rebuilt sort of the way it was originally. So I'm wondering if you could speak about the obstacles, yes, logistic, but also especially fiscal and political, and what decisions need to be taken by whom in order to have the funding to rebuild better.
So that premise is precisely why we need the private sector involved, right? We recognize that there are some directives to using the funding so that we can restore the system. And in my view, it is not just restoring it the same way. It's going to be restored better. It is going to be the transmission grid and so forth. However, within that construct, we need to start looking at private sector collaborators, such as we were doing prior to the emergency, right? But now within the context of rebuilding the whole energy grid and making it stronger, more resilient, and better, seeing how the private sector can play a collaborative and synergistic role between them, right? That is the critical aspect right now. How does the local government, how does the Army Corps of Engineers, how does FEMA, and how does the private sector, if it participates fully in this rebuilding process, can help us not only pick up the system the same old way that it was before, but how do we make it stronger, more resilient? How do we avoid for a next storm to do the same damage to the structure and then have to reinvest more money and have to be more time without electricity? So those questions are critical, and that's why, precisely because of your question, that is why we need the private sector to be involved, to be innovative, to be bold, and to collaborate with our government to make sure that we find the best possible solutions and the most innovative solutions for energy generation in Puerto Rico.
One question per media outlet, E&E News.
Governor, you mentioned that a lot of key buildings have been re-energized. Sounds like most of them are in San Juan. Yeah. And I'm wondering, how long is it going to be before we're going to start to see re-energizing happen outside of San Juan and other parts of the
Right.
island?
So our objective, you know, the reason why San Juan was energized quicker is because there was less damage done to some of the infrastructure there. That is really and secondly, there are priority areas in Puerto Rico that are being energized so that we can, you know, say, for example, where hospitals are and so forth. So point generation has been established. Initially, in the, you know, San Juan had both, you know, a little bit less damage, and it had also critical infrastructure such as the airport, the main medical center, and so forth, the ports that needed to be energized. But of course, our mid to long-term view on this is going to other areas. I can tell you that one of the priorities is going to the south. And start re-energizing the south right now. That'll start distributing energy elsewhere in Puerto Rico, and as we approach that you know 3 to 4 week plateau as well, start point generation everywhere across Puerto Rico. So it is a question of need, priorities, and of course the damage that was sustained by some of these either generation or transmission lines.
Una pregunta por medio, primera hora.
Buenos días. En momentos en que se han restablecido los viajes en lanchas a las islas municipios, los viequenses han denunciado que el estrecho margen que hay de Vieques a Fajardo para hacer sus gestiones, sobre todo las médicas, hay pacientes de cáncer, por ejemplo, cuyas citas pues se extienden por mucho más tiempo, no les da para ellos regresar nuevamente a la isla Nena. ¿Hay alguna solución a esto, dado que pues, sabemos que hay unas instrucciones de la Guardia Costanera que no permiten que las lanchas naveguen en la oscuridad? Pero ¿cuáles soluciones hay entonces para iluminar los puertos, tanto de Culebras y de Vieques, de manera más inmediata, y que entonces los residentes puedan hacer sus gestiones?
Sí, bueno, la verdad es que la solución inmediata es que busquen refugio aquí, ¿verdad? Mientras se están dando su tratamiento. Precisamente, como bien establece, por condiciones de la Guardia Costanera y por no tener el acceso a tener el alumbrado necesario para que las lanchas puedan ir, pues entonces el cuarto viaje que tradicionalmente iba hacia Vieques y a Culebra, pues no se está dando. Es por esa consideración. No obstante, ¿verdad? Prioridad que se ha establecido es poder comenzar a energizar para poder dar el cuarto viaje. Me parece que en las prioridades, ¿verdad? Dentro de las próximas semanas está poder tener los 4 viajes nuevamente, ¿verdad? El ciclo de Vieques y Culebra, pero por ahora lo que nos gustaría hacer es, a la medida que tengan esas necesidades, poder contactar aquí al COE para ver qué alternativas para aquellos pacientes que necesiten un tiempo estar aquí, que puedan tener, ¿verdad? Refugio, hospedaje adecuado y que tal vez, si no pueden regresar esa misma noche, pues que puedan regresar al próximo día.
Culminamos con Sistema TV.
Sí, gobernador, después de haber escuchado, ¿verdad?, todos los trabajos que se están realizando, todos los logros y los escollos, aceptar lo que usted dice, que siempre ha reiterado, hace falta hacer más. Le pregunto cándidamente, ¿cuán preocupado está usted, gobernador, en este momento con la situación? ¿Qué quizás es lo que más le preocupa, le afecta, le duele?
Bueno, son muchas preocupaciones, ¿verdad? Y yo no voy a... Yo creo que uno no para de estar preocupado por varias cosas. Uno, emergencias que están ocurriendo ahora, ¿verdad? Seguimos escuchando de gente que no ha recibido comida y agua. Eso es una gran preocupación y por lo tanto siempre es prioridad identificar cómo podemos hacer llegar más recursos, más agua hacia las personas. Pero aparte de eso, ¿verdad? Yo creo que ya la distribución de diésel está más efectiva y de combustibles, otras de las prioridades se están sosteniendo. Mis preocupaciones son los retos que podemos tener de cara al futuro, ¿verdad? Retos, por ejemplo, en mantenimiento y en reparo de los generadores. Eso es una de las preocupaciones y la estamos trabajando con el general Buchanan, el Army Corps of Engineers, proactivamente, ¿verdad? Ya tenemos un loop para ir dándole mantenimiento para que no tengamos que llegar cuando estos generadores se exploten. Eso es una. Preocupaciones de salud pública, eso sigue siendo ¿verdad? Una limitación. Los hospitales están operando, pero ciertamente no son las condiciones que se estaban acostumbradas para los hospitales operar, y uno siempre tiene que estar vigilante fuera de los hospitales y dentro de los hospitales y ver cómo uno puede intervenir de manera apropiada. ¿Verdad? Esa, y tercero, o cuarto, yo diría que una preocupación ya por lo que implica el mediano y largo plazo es que se tome acción sobre lo que nosotros hemos pedido y lo que entendemos es necesario para que Puerto Rico pueda ir saliendo de la emergencia y que pueda rehabilitar y restaurar apropiadamente de cara al futuro. O sea que esas son algunas de las que tengo en el tope de la mente, pero ciertamente muchísimas preocupaciones porque hay muchos casos y yo siento que, ¿verdad? Aunque reconozco la magnitud de esto, pero mi rol como gobernador es asegurarme que todos esos casos se puedan atender, que podamos trabajar con el pueblo de Puerto Rico, que todo esto, ¿verdad? En fase de emergencia uno resuelve por aquí y surgen otros retos por allá, pues tener el equipo listo, enfocado, para poder entonces tomar acción y resolver esos problemas.
Muchas gracias, compañeros. Concluimos la rueda de prensa. Va a estar Iván Broida de mi oficina y Adlin Torres tomando los nombres de ustedes. Vamos a hacer un viaje a Guayama para entrega de suministros. Los que estén interesados pueden apuntarse en la lista para el transporte. Gracias.